There are two considerable differences between myself and my featured guest. one, we don't go to the same barber, and two, he hits the ball a whole lot farther than I do.
And third, he's a great mustache and I don't, so that was the third one.
You work on that, and I'll be jealous of the locks that you have going on, Kyle Berkshire. How's life, and how's your health, and how's your preparation for another season of competition?
Well, it's great. I'm doing what I love for a living, so life is always good. Regards to my health, I broke my hand last year, so that kind of sucked, but it taught me a lot about the fact that I'm not a machine. Not that I thought of myself as one, but I kind of took it for granted that I could hit balls until I couldn't hit anymore, and I would feel fine the next day. So I learned a lot about managing my hit count, managing the load I was hitting and putting on my body. So I'm 26.
Okay.
So it's a good time to learn that because when you get into your 30s and your 40s, you can go pretty far with it. You just got to manage your body, manage the mileage. And one of my goals is to become the oldest world long drive champion ever. I think currently it's 43 or 44, that's the age. I would love to be in my mid-40s still winning world titles.
So you're not necessarily in a profession that lends itself to long-term stability, and the body is put through such violent motions. So how do you prepare yourself to last that long?
Well, what I would actually say, if you look at the top 10, the average age of the top 10 is in their mid to early 30s.
Yeah.
So think of it like this. In long drive, we're standing still, trying to hit a ball as hard as we can. And I'll give you an analogy to baseball. So in baseball, what keeps the superstar slugger around into his late 30s, early 40s is his ability to hit home runs. So the cool thing is this skill set actually ages a lot better than people realize. There's a lot of guys in their late 30s, mid 30s, even early 40s. In fact, there's two guys I know in their early 50s who can swing 150 miles an hour.
150?
Yes. Yes.
At what point in your life or your career did the idea of making a living as a long drive competitor become a thing?
So I play collegiate golf, and a lot of my teammates, and it's kind of started to pick up steam once I competed in a round, and we had TrackMan wired up on some holes, and they saw my ball speeds were in the low 200s.
Yeah.
And it was just a significant outlier by like 12, 15 miles an hour. That's where it started picking up some steam. And I decided to do a qualifier to shut everybody up about it. I ended up winning, which I had no intentions of doing. I just said I'll show up, have fun, compete. I'll say I didn't make it, and then we can move on with our lives, and I can resume competing, working on my game. I showed up, ended up winning, had no intentions of really doing much. Qualified for Worlds. I was like, all right, well, I'll play Worlds, and then that'll be it. Well, then I made it to the semifinals. It was on television, and
just kept going,
it changed that. And that got me enough to where it's like, okay, I'll do this for another year or so, but then I'm going to go back to golf. And then around 2019, I left college entirely because I had another really good year and decided to pursue it full time. And that was when I really progressed, when I won my first world title. And then once I had that platform, that was when it was very lucrative financially, and that's when it made a lot of sense. But I've never totally left the game of golf, and I definitely do still want to play competitively. Not to the extent where I would ever leave long drive, but I would love to do it for fun, because it's amazing how my life revolved around golf when I was a kid, and now it's like my escape from my day job.
Do you miss playing full rounds?
I do. I play full rounds all the time, but to have a full competitive schedule, yes, I do miss that, because like when I was, my junior year, senior year of high school, that's all I did, and it was a ton of fun playing with the top guys in the sport, and stressful, but a lot of fun. But I definitely do want to compete a little bit here and there for sure, and see how good I can get. I'm able to put about 20 to 25 hours a week into my game. So that's a good amount when you stack it up over a long time.
And I know it's intense competition, but it's also a small fraternity.
Oh yeah.
And there's not that many of you guys that are at this elite level.
Exactly.
So how does everybody balance the competitive side versus the colleague side?
It's actually it's pretty cut and dry. We actually all have almost like this unspoken understanding. When we're not on the grid, we're a team. When we're on the grid, we're trying to rip each other apart.
Yeah.
Okay. That's like, because we're a team, because WLD needs everybody. Yeah. And we're a team. We're trying to grow this together, and then we're trying to beat the crap out of everybody on the tee box. And that's what makes sport so cool. You have different personalities, people who maybe have friction with each other, but in the end of the day have a common goal. But that friction makes it so much more entertaining to watch when they're really trying to go at it against each other on the tee box.
So along comes Bryson, who kind of infiltrates that world. Mm-hmm. Are you guys skeptical? Are you thinking, dude, stay in your lane. What was it
Oh,
like?
I knew from the moment he reached out to me right after I won Worlds, and any skepticism was quickly gone by, I would say, midway through 2021, because he was about 141, 142 club speed, 212 ball speed. And so everybody who was on the inside, what I mean by this, in the long drive community, who understood what those numbers meant, understood what he was doing.
Sure.
The consensus going into 2021 was that he was going to finish somewhere between top 32 and top 16. He was going to finish in the top half of the field. He was going to be competitive. He was going to be a really good hitter. I thought going into it, he would get knocked out in the round of 16. I thought he would fall just short of the final 8, probably finish 12th or 13th in the round of 16, because he would just run into too many guys who were faster.
Yeah.
And he wouldn't be able to even fill in the grid up. He would just run out of steam. But he had a few things go his way, and to his credit, hit tremendously. Gained speed, got up to 218 ball speed.
So you guys, but as a fraternity,
Yeah.
you were okay?
Oh, absolutely.
Opening the door up to a
we welcomed him in with open arms, and it was great to see how welcoming he was to us.
Yeah.
And he exceeded expectations. He finished second this past year, almost won the whole thing.
Right.
And then in the first year, he finished, I think he finished 7th or something, got to the last spot in the final 8, and it was really cool to see. And I mean, he's a great hitter. He's a great hitter in long drive, and he's obviously a great hitter in golf too.
Last question I have for you. My drives that are going in that range of 228 to 240 when I really catch them, the likelihood of me bringing home a belt with that kind of number, I mean, those are the numbers you really want to.
Well, you never know. If someone hits them all OB, they get 0. But here's what I'll say.
What club do you hit 240?
If I'm going full, I can hit a 7 or 8 iron in that range, 240. But I'll tell you this, here's the cool thing. We're actually starting something, not this year, but next year, it's in the works, where we'll have swing speed divisions. So,
that's
imagine this.
fascinating.
Imagine if you could compete against people who swung the same club speed as you.
Yeah.
Would that make you more
90-year-old
interested?
ladies, yes.
Well, but, yeah. Well, let's just say you're swinging 100 miles an hour, whatever. If you competed against guys who are also swinging 100 miles an hour, it would be a fun event because you'd be competing against everybody who swung the same speed as you. So with technology from launch monitors, we can regulate it by saying if it's a 100 mile an hour swing speed division, 1.5 smash is the perfect smash factor. So any ball speed over 150 miles an hour would be disqualified.
Interesting.
And that way, you're competing against guys who are your club head speed.
You know what's funny? I pick up in this conversation. You've got your mind into this. You're engaged. You're a bit of a gearhead. You're kicking out numbers, and so it's not just swing for the fences and let the
Absolutely
hair fly
not.
in the wind.
No.
You're really dialed in.
The biggest difference between me in 2017 and 2019, I'm a little bit faster now than when I was in 2017, sure. But I know about landing angle, spin loft, dynamic loft, shaft kick points, head weight, swing weight. I know how to dial in different weights on different parts of the head, the shot shape, spin axis, all these things, landing angle, firmness to the grid, the grain, all these things go into it. And it's just something that I'm obsessed over. And I love diving. And that's probably why Bryce and I clicked, because we're both massive
he's in
nerds.
that same mindset,
But we're both huge nerds. We love this stuff.
I was going to
and
use
it's
that
awesome.
word, but I didn't want you to get mad at me.
Oh, that's a compliment to me.
Good.
I love being called a nerd.
Nerd, Kyle Berkshire.
Nerd,
Thank
yeah.
you so much.
Hey,
man.
my
Great
pleasure.
to meet you.
Great to meet you too.